So what should one make of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Israel, his addressing the Knesset or the Israeli parliament? Lauren Dagan Amoss is a senior researcher at the Begin Sarath Centre for Strategic Studies, joins us from Israel. Pinak Ranjan Chakravarty is former secretary in the Ministry of External Affairs and former deputy chief of Indian mission in Israel. Sandeep Unnithan stays with me. Lauren, welcome. Ambassador, welcome. Lauren, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been described by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu as a personal friend. They've spoken of tightening cooperation through a series of decisions. In your view, what are those concrete defense or security-related announcements or other big announcements that we can expect as a key result of the Prime Minister's visit? Or will it remain kind of a framework-level cooperation?
Namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste.
So, no, I don't think it's going to be stay the thing as they are now. I think this visit will improve the relationship between the defense relationship between India and Israel. We're talking about modern conflict is a drone-centric ISRR, monitors counter-drone defense. India is investing heavily in an unmanned system, especially after recent regional tensions like Operation Sindoor. And Israeli drone technology is valued for operational reliability and battlefield integration. And of course, air defense. This is not just purchase, it is about building long-term industrial cooperation.
So long-term industrial cooperation is the key focus. Ambassador Chakravarty, this will be Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first visit since 2017 and anyway the first since the October 7, 2023 terror attacks. Now, what do you make of the timing? Is it a message of solidarity that we stand with Israel against terror, or is it more about India safeguarding defense and technology interests amidst this regional instability?
Thank you, Gaurav, for having me, and shalom to my young Israeli friend. And I think this visit will again establish another step in our cooperation, which began in 1992 when the India granted diplomatic recognition to Israel. So I think since then the relationship has changed. I was there till about 1999. And I've seen the initial part of the relationship taking off. But now it's reached different levels altogether. Israel is a high-tech developing country in the sense that it has always relied on high technology to deal with anything, including defense. And Israel has always been in the midst of tension, and it has been attacked by various groups, etc. So Israel has been under pressure in its own region, but it has handled it very successfully in the sense that because it relies so much on technological warfare or technological defense and things like that. India too is relying on Israel for many things, and in the beginning it was kind of buying high technology things like smart bombs or drones. But now I think we've moved on. The next phase would be more joint production and I think some very high-tech regions. The changing nature of warfare also brings India and Israel together because of how the nature of warfare is.
Okay. Sandeep, so do we see this more as a buyer-seller relationship or co-development of high-end technology and not just restricted to defense?
Gaurav, we have been told that this visit of Prime Minister Modi to Israel is going to be very different from previous visits. I mean, this, like you mentioned, is the first visit after the October 7, 2023 attacks, which Prime Minister Modi condemned in the strongest possible words. He was one of the first global leaders to condemn those attacks. And now, coming after the nearly 3 years of that war, India and Israel are both victims of terror, Gaurav. And there are reports which suggest that Hamas is making common cause with Lashkar-e-Taiba and the ISI. So that immediately tells you that both India and Israel face terrorism, and those terrorist actors, non-state actors, proxy actors are coming together, forming an alliance of sorts. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has spoken of the hexagon of alliances, that those 4 countries that could form this, hexagon against other regional actors. And we know which countries they are, which are ranged against us. So the defense relationship, Gaurav, which actually anchors the Israel-India partnership, is going to move into different things of building resilient supply chains that are more than just a buyer-seller relationship. It is about embedding each other in each other's military-industrial complexes.
Remember, Israel is also big on startups. Israel is also huge on agriculture, and especially agriculture in dry land. And that's where cooperation has been intense. When I was covering post-October 7, 2023 terror attacks, we saw the extent of cooperation between the two countries, 2023, 2024. But as Ambassador Pinak Chakravarty pointed out, it's been there. 1999 Kargil war, we saw it on ground. Lauren, Israeli Prime Minister said Prime Minister is scheduled to deliver this very important message or speech at the Knesset. And he will also participate in an innovation event at Jerusalem that highlights AI and quantum collaboration. So are we looking at Israel and India emerging as high-tech strategic partners, moving way beyond just defense buyer-seller relations?
I really hope so, especially after the AI summit that was in Delhi last week. I think there is a lot of opportunity for the Israeli high-tech and industry, technological industry, to collaborate with India. And I think this visit will open the doors for the Israeli market and also to the Indian market to see there is not only obstacle, but a lot of opportunities, especially, again, after the big achievement of India in the AI summit.
Okay. Ambassador Chakravarty, what message would this send to the people of Palestine, for example, or to Iran, and tensions between Israel and Palestine, both in West Bank and Gaza, remain extremely high. Tensions with Iran remain extremely high. There's talk of more attacks on Hezbollah in Lebanon. So what message would this visit send?
Look, I think we must start at the point where to examine Indian foreign policy, how it has been nuanced over the last decade or so. Today, we don't hyphenate Palestine with Israel. We have developed an independent relationship with Israel. We have independent relations with other countries in the region. And we have maintained our position on Palestine that we are still for a two-state solution where both Palestinians and Israelis live together in peace. Now, that is what our position is still today. And I think that is unlikely to change because this is a long-standing position on Palestine. But then Israel, our relationship with Israel is on a different footing. And that is what I was trying to explain, that this relationship has grown over the years. Though I must say that in the last few years, the annual trade has fallen. And I think that is one of the reasons why both countries are trying to discuss an FTA. And India has had a successful FTA with EU, with various other countries, almost 8 of them. And then I think Israel is also interested in the FTA. Apart from this resilient supply chains and joint defense production, this is also very important for us, as for Israel. Moreover, also Israel has now shown interest in taking people from India for various activities, beginning from construction to other skilled workmen from India, because they do need work. They do need a workforce which helps them, because the Palestinians who used to do some of this construction and other work are no longer probably welcome, and they are not probably trusted anymore. So I think Israel has a good opportunity to utilize.
There is an opportunity there. Can it be harnessed, Lauren? Because Israel-Iran, Israel-Hezbollah, Israel-Hamas tensions remain extremely high. What message, in your view, does Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Israel send across the region right now?
I think he will keep the message that he came with this method in 2014, that the zero gameplay was done. India can play with Iran, can play with Germany, can play with France, with Russia and Israel. They don't have, because of the Palestine, not to do something with Israel. I think this is very important that Modi ji will emphasize that, and because all over the world, they're connecting Israel to the Palestine every time and the relationship with us. But here, finally, we have a global power that know how to deal with us and not to connect it to the Palestine issue, that it's important, of course, but you don't have to, the zero gameplay, it's not enough. You don't need to work with that anymore.
Very interesting point. Sandeep, last 30 seconds that I have. So potential deal, an Iron Dome-like system for India, hypersonic missiles, Spice Kit, integrating all of this into the Sudarshan Chakra air defense system. You think all of these are very key takeaways from this visit?
Absolutely, Gaurav. There's a whole range of naval and air force related equipment that's on offer. There's air-to-air missiles, air-to-ground munitions, long-range air-launched ballistic missiles, surface-to-air missiles. These are all the capabilities that Israel has built up over the last couple of years, and India would be very keen on joint producing them. Of course, we have our own domestic systems as well, so I think the key issue here would be to balance our indigenous programs with Israeli equipment and technology. And let's not forget, we have been using Israeli long-range radars, Gaurav, for our ballistic missile defense system. So that's a model for you right there.
Lauren, you wanted to comment? 30 seconds that I have.
Yeah,
Go on,
is that
ma'am.
okay? For me, the achievement from this visit will be that Make in India, it's good vision, it's very good, but the Israeli market, especially the security, the industry, need to understand there is a lot of opportunity, not obstacle in Make in India. For the Israeli market, there is a lot of opportunity. It's very important that we need, Israel and India will deal it together.
There are great opportunities both for India and for Israel. But let's see how this visit progresses. It will be wonderful having all of you back on the show tomorrow.